Why
Amazon,
do you have to do that? Not like, why is it that has to be perfect? Like on Amazon, you're saying like has to be the packaging.
Hold on, I'm not getting to that point yet. I'm talking about the customer experience. Like
Is that not the customer experience? The packaging and the product you're just talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand what your question was.
Well, why do you have to do it on Amazon? You don't have to do it on dropshipping, because on Amazon you get reviews and you get stung and you get sent down the bottom. If you just launch a product straight that has no packaging, no customer experience, you go down to 1 star and you end up at the bottom of the
You've pissed
ranking.
her off now, Chris.
We'll go on 2 different wavelengths, Chris. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Conquer podcast.
What up, guys?
What's
Good?
going on?
Feeling good?
What are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about, this is probably one of the most frequent questions we get asked. So we're going to talk about it. And that question is, do you do drop shipping? In short, if it was a very short podcast, the answer would be no, and we would be moving on. However, we want to talk about what exactly dropshipping is, because if you're new to online business, e-commerce, there's actually so many different ways that you can sell products online. So just to throw out a few words that you may have heard. So we obviously do Amazon FBA, there's arbitrage, there's dropshipping, there's private label. There's so many different ways that you can actually sell a product online, and they're all different business models. So what we're going to talk about today is specifically dropshipping and how dropshipping varies from Amazon FBA.
Yeah, and I think it's such a good conversation to have, because when people are starting out, they almost have like decision fatigue. There's all these different business models. They think it's the same thing. Like the other day, I met a guy and I actually said I did Amazon FBA. He's like, "What do you do on the Amazon FBA?" Then he's like, "Oh, is that drop shipping?" So it's like they actually think it's the same thing. So you have to I get it all the time. Clearly differentiate like the completely different business models. And I think like maybe I'll hand it over to you, Chris, if you want to unpack like what is drop shipping.
Yeah, and I think the reason why people say it all the time as well is because so many people have marketed dropshipping in the past as well. But yeah, so dropshipping is where you don't actually own any of the products. So basically you have a supplier, normally in China, who you contact with, and as soon as someone places an order on your website, you then place the order in China, then they send the product to the customer. And what that does, it means that there's normally a longer delivery time. The product may already be manufactured, so there's no like leadway for the manufacturing normally, but the shipping time is normally delayed, say like 14 to 20 days, unless it's express. Even then,
even longer. Sometimes it's 30 days or more.
Sometimes even longer. So so the customer, so you never actually really see this product. The chances are that you're not going to get, well, you're most likely not going to be getting quality controls on this product. So the product's normally not as good a quality. So you're kind of drop shipping a product that just comes straight from China without any checking. And the chances are that it's not going to be as good. And you can't really build a tangible brand that you can sell later on, because you don't own any inventory. You don't really own that brand. You might own the branding for that product, but you don't really own the inventory.
Yeah.
And even then, like a lot of the time, the products aren't branded.
Yeah.
So it's like for us, our brand's Prodigy X. So all of our products arrive at the customer's door. It says Prodigy X.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, that's the brand I bought. There's that association. I trust this. This is real.
Yeah.
A dropshipping product comes in like a dodgy cardboard box wrapped in sticky tape and has like Chinese labels all over it. So you're like, what did I just buy? What the fuck is this?
And however, you can brand and dropship products. Like you can, and we do that for one of our products. So not dropship, but we send them directly to the customer for one of our really expensive products. But otherwise, it could be anything you're receiving.
So dropshipping, usually when it's like directed us, or do you do dropshipping, is because dropshipping is the most widely marketed, advertised, online business, get quick, rich quick, leave your job in 90 days kind of thing, even less, 30 days. Like that's the kind of marketing that's around dropshipping. That's why people have heard of it. But it's like, from Chris, your explanation was very detailed. And if I could maybe explain maybe from a consumer or a customer point of view, because most people are customers, is like, usually it's that you see a product on Facebook ads, you're like, that's a cool product. It's usually a trending product or something that was on TikTok. You click on that ad, it takes you to a website, you buy it from that website. And then if it was my dropshipping store, then I would go to my supplier in China, pay them for that one product, and then the Chinese supplier sends it to you. So that's what dropshipping is.
And can you build on that and like why that's attractive as a business model for people as beginners? Because they don't have money up front. They're literally buying it as the orders come in.
It is a low barrier to entry, whether it's because you don't have to buy that product. So what you do need to do for that business is you need to create a website. So you need to be good at marketing. So you have to create a website. You obviously need to find a supplier, but the heavy lifting is all Facebook ads. And we'll talk about why we don't do this business model in a moment, but Facebook ads is a shit show.
Yeah.
So that's what's not advertised. You need to learn Facebook ads, and you need to put a lot of money into Facebook ads to stop the scroll. We're always on our phones. We're on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, wherever you're paying for those ads. You need to know what you're doing in terms of marketing to stop someone scrolling. Our attention span is not existent for them to actually click onto your website. So you need to find your customers. That's actually
A lot of people yell like, no money up front, dropshipping is the best business model. And that's because technically there's no money up front. But when you actually break it down, and we'll go into more detail on Eric, maybe you can even expand on this as well. There is other things that cost you that you, without spending money, you're never actually going to sell any products, which means you don't actually make any money anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Like the startup cost is the Facebook ads, and actually learning the skill of Facebook ads is extremely difficult. And the difference is, and we'll pivot shortly into like what Amazon FBA is with drop shipping basically. And this is traditional drop shipping again. So you have a Shopify website, right? You're selling, let's say, coffee cups, and you don't have a brand on it, whatever. And then you have to run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or, any ads you can for people to find it. So basically, as a drop shipper, you have to put out like bait for people, and then like you have to find people. You have to say, hey, this is my product, guys, buy it. That's what drop shipping is in kind of a nutshell. And then like if you bring that over into Amazon FBA and just from a high level, it's the complete opposite of that. The customers come to you.
Yeah.
And that's why we love FBA so much, and we'll unpack that entire business model, and that's the real differentiator. Drop shipping, you have to find the customers. You have to put all the energy and effort into Facebook ads and all this stuff. Amazon FBA, they come to you.
That's right.
I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather people come to me with their money than me have to be like, hey, please buy my product.
Yeah, excuse me.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess like, because we're going to speak about Amazon and FBA and how it differs as well, but one of the reasons why people start dropping, we already discussed, is like they say there's no money up front, so you can get in there straight away, but you do have to learn Facebook ads. The other thing is, obviously, with your own website, there is less fees and charges that Amazon obviously charges, but there's benefits we find for Amazon. But Shopify, you just got the website, so you're selling the product and you're making that money back. You don't have to pay. You pay Shopify a very small amount of money. It's slightly different to what you pay Amazon, because Amazon's doing all the work for you, where Shopify, it's coming from your supplier in China. So that's another thing to do with fees and charges. But why do we prefer like Amazon, I guess, over that model?
I was even thinking maybe before we pivot into the Amazon discussion, like actually talking about our personal journeys with dropshipping, because I've had my own dropshipping website. You've had your own dropshipping website. We've all done it
100%.
individually. And maybe we should unpack
Share
that.
our experiences for sure.
Ron's,
I'm gonna go first because I was actually the one thing that for me, there was two things that when I did a drop shipping store, is that it didn't sit well with me. Facebook ads, it's sold that it's like super easy, and I found that my drop shipping store was called Nika & Co, I think, and it was shoes. It was a shoe store.
Women high heels, right?
Women high heels. It was actually probably, this is like early in our relationship. I reckon this was maybe 5 years ago. And
had you done Amazon FBA at this point yet?
So we had, I don't think I had launched a product on Amazon, but we had, this is like Chris and I had met in France, and we came and all of us were in Adelaide. We're like, let's do drop shipping, and then all of us were doing our separate businesses.
I bought a drop shipping course, and we were all sharing it and learning it.
Crazy as well. So what I had these beautiful shoes, and it's the shoes that even I wear now. Not that specific brand, but the type of shoes. It's the high heels, and it's got like the plastic band, like the see-through brand. I buy mine from Zara now. But like it was those kind of shoes. And I love the whole idea of like, oh, I'm creating my beautiful brand. I'm a brand owner. And it's like all this ego stuff also comes in, because it's like cool to say that you own it. And then as soon as I started getting ads, I was like, why isn't anyone buying this? Because I had no skills. When you started running ads? Yeah, because I had no skills of buying it. But then also the quality of the product. Someone did buy that, and then they sent me. Your friends did? No, like a customer bought the shoe, and they sent a picture of it, and it wasn't in a beautiful box. It wasn't like, it was just the literal shoe, and it was bubble wrap and just a whole duct tape. Like it was like an egg of duct tape and bubble wrap, and I was like, what the hell? And
Can you imagine that? So the girl's expecting some premium, beautiful high heels customer experience, and she gets a bubble wrapped egg.
Yeah, like I was just, and I was embarrassed. I was like, that's not what I, want to represent. That's not what I want. Like, I'm literally scamming people. Like, it's like, oh, look at this premium, beautiful shoe that you're going to get. Yeah. And then this is the product. Like, that's like probably like the number one thing that I don't like about dropshipping is like it's not your product. You have no control about around the product. You don't have any control about the branding. Like even the colors, unless the supplier like offers them already. Like all of those things, like nothing. It's like, okay, this is like you're selling people shit. Is how I see.
Yeah.
And there was a time. So even 5 years ago, we were late to the dropshipping game. I reckon like around like, what is it, like 2016, 2018, that's when dropshipping was really exploding.
Yeah.
And that's because still the concept of online shopping was still relatively new then.
Yeah.
And even like Instagram was like new, like social media was new. So how dropshipping and social media worked together was like, it was complete. Everyone was so excited about it. So it worked really well. It was extremely successful. But now people's expectations are significantly higher. When they buy something online, firstly, they want the package yesterday. So if you're shipping from China, you can be anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks of shipping. Customers already pissed off.
Yeah.
And secondly, the quality. Like everyone's standard of what they expect, especially if they're paying any sort of money online, it needs to be the best type of quality.
I think that's changed over time because of the dropshipping model that came out.
Exactly,
Because
but it's
people's expectations have changed because they were sick of getting ripped off or getting stuff that's like sold them the best product and they get there and it's like it's like.
But it's more so because it's like, over time things have changed and there's so many. It like Amazon comes along and you get a perfect product in literally you could get it delivered the next day in America 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Then every other business model can be like, well, this is ancient. It doesn't even make sense. It's different customer expectations, and also now Facebook ads versus Facebook ads during that time, the amount that you're spending
of acquiring a customer
is completely different as well.
And also the Facebook data's really inaccurate now because there's all of these new privacy laws. They did like iOS updates and stuff, and all of the Facebook data is now not even accurate.
It changes all the
So
time, doesn't
you
it?
don't even know what the real conversion is, what's actually doing well, and all of this stuff. So you're kind of shooting in the dark with Facebook ads.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so that was my, like, I went and I was naive then, and now obviously the mindset plays are like, I don't know why I had the expectation, because the marketing was there, like, I'll be rich overnight kind of thing. It's like, if I could be rich overnight, I would have been rich overnight 10 years ago.
So Ron, so you had the dropshipping store with the shoes, Nicker & Co., and the first customer received the bubble egg-wrapped like shoes, right?
Yeah.
They weren't happy with it. So then what happened from there? Did you continue on with the business? Did you put more money into ads? Did you make money?
Well,
What was the ending?
it was more so that I guess I didn't. Well, firstly, I was embarrassed because I have,
Standards?
standards, and I also didn't want to be ripping people off, and it kind of just fizzled out. I'm just like, wait a second, like firstly I didn't have the skills, I think was like number one. Instead of being like, okay, this isn't working, how can I pivot to make this better? I didn't know that, like, maybe I should speak to a supplier, maybe I should create was just like, this goes in the too hard bucket. Like that's at that time, that's what I truly felt. And it was like something that I tried for like 5 seconds. I had the store up, made a few sales kind of thing, but I'm like,
That's actually a pretty good result considering you actually got sales. You just whipped it up and you got a couple sales.
Yeah, and then I'll spend some more, a few $100s on Facebook ads, and like I didn't make that money back, and I was like, I don't know what to do now.
And that's kind of where I was leaning with it. It's like you would have made the sale, but then you would have had to put more money into Facebook ads to get more customers, and the Facebook ads is costing more than the profit you make per sale.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you're getting sales, like cool, but you're not making any profit.
That's
And the customer's never going to come back, because that's the main thing, is the lifetime order value of the customer on Shopify, which is like you want them to come back and buy new products and buy from you again.
Yeah.
They sent you a box of a photo of an egg wrapped shoes. They're never going to ever shop with that brand again. And that's really the experience of dropshipping as a whole. And that's after they would have received it, a month later.
Yeah.
They're pissed off, that customer.
That's similar to where I fizzled out as well. It's like I was spending more money than I was making money.
Yeah.
Even though I was making sales, dropshipping was my first e-commerce experience. It was the first thing for me, online selling, and I actually sold quite a few products. However, I was spending more money on ads because I didn't really know what I was doing.
Talk about your product though, because it's super
Well, my product, I really like my product. We talk about like the passion of product. I actually was passionate about it. Mine was a coffee product. It was a reusable coffee capsules for espresso machines. So instead of having the plastic, back then they had like the aluminium, or I don't think they were even, some of them were even recyclable back then. So it was like a stainless steel, you put your own coffee in there, you picked your own coffee, and then you ran it through the machine, and you could wash it up and do it again. So it was like a eco-friendly coffee capsule. This was my first ever online
What was
store.
the name of it? I remember it had
It was called Blended Culture.
Blended Culture.
That
was before ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm still linked to the account on my Facebook. I don't know how to get rid of it. But yeah, I was Yeah, that was my first ever online store, and I put so much work into learning e-commerce, and I bought a laptop for that store.
That's
And
right. I went there
literally,
to
like,
go
it
to
was all
Apple.
going well. Like, I remember getting my first sale that ping, and it was so exciting because I just launched. I got a sale within the first like 6 hours of doing it, and I was so pumped. And then I actually went back to the French Alps, and I was working a job still in the Alps, and I kind of like was distracted with the Alps, and I was running ads, trying to do it late at night after work, and I guess I didn't fully commit to learning the ad process, even though I was getting sales, and then I ended up just wasting money, not really refining the ads. And I look back, it is actually for someone who had no idea what he was doing. I created a really good store, and it had potential. And if I just got my head around those ads and actually maybe even branded my products properly, like spoke to suppliers and branded it properly, I could have made a fair bit of money. But it was just, I got so set with the ads and so confused, and I was losing money. And when you start losing money, you start being less interested. And then I also was still working at the time, and I kind of lost time and enthusiasm for it because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it was my stepping stone into Amazon and my stepping stone into e-commerce. And
The way
it was
I
great.
see that is that like your most difficult challenge with the dropshipping store was the ads.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago when ads were infinitely easier than they are now.
Because it's not
So
even
it's like-
it's not even the ads. Oh, sorry, it's the ads and like getting the keywords and stuff. But you have to be creative for the ads as well.
Yeah.
You can't just you can be good at understanding how ads work and understanding and looking at data and being like, oh, that keyword's working here or that audience is working here. But you also need to create creative ads, and there was no like
And you
AI back then.
constantly
There
need
was
to be refining
yeah,
new
like you need-
hooks,
Yeah.
the whole thing. You
like
put
photos.
effort in.
You got to have good products.
Yeah.
You got to have the
And
products.
then there's a nurture sequences like
Yeah,
cold ads,
retargeting.
warm ads, hot ads, retargeting ads. It's a whole fucking thing.
So it gets very complex, and it turns into this big spider web. And yeah, if you get that right, it can work really well, or it could back then. It's getting harder and harder every year. But yeah, that's what kind of was that was the stopping. That's when I stopped doing it because I was like, I'm not making enough money here. I was probably not even breaking even. I was probably at a loss by the end of it. I put a lot of money in. I think I did like $7,000 or $8,000 in sales, and I probably spent like $10,000 on ads, or maybe $8,000. It was I didn't lose too much money, but I was losing money. I knew this would only get worse as it continued.
Yeah. My experience is similar to that, but I didn't even get to the ads really. I created like my first store was called Valerie.
I remember.
It was a jewelry store, and I put heaps of effort into it, and I really enjoyed the creation process. Like made it so sick, got like videos made and everything from just images and stuff I found online and whipped it all together. But then it got to Facebook ads, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like Facebook ads again was the difficult part of it. And
I remember you had a cool video. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I agree. I watched that
Yeah.
like recently, and I was like, that is so G. Like it was so cool. But funnily enough, I ended up starting the jewelry brand Utopia Palms years later, but that was a different business model. It was on Shopify. That was private label, and we did decent numbers. But then there's a whole nother discussion in itself.
That's again a different business model.
Maybe
a
for
different
another
episode.
maybe for another time. But the main thing was that at that time I was already selling on Amazon FBA. I had Golden Nature cranking. I was selling the bamboo fruit baskets in America. I had bamboo spoons. I think I was launching bamboo bread boxes, and that business was doing well. And then I was doing the Shopify dropshipping next to it. So I had like direct comparison of them both, and I liken the website creation part of a dropshipping website to the creation of a listing on Amazon, which I really enjoy doing. I like marketing, I like visuals, I like the front end of business. But the beautiful thing with Amazon was that like the barrier to entry for like getting sales is like your product's just on Amazon.
Yeah.
The customer will just write in fruit basket, there's your product, right?
Yeah.
And their buying intent is 100%.
And you love that part of the making your product stand out. That's your
Yeah.
bread and butter. So
Exactly.
for Amazon, it's like that's all you had to do basically. And
That's
you're
all
there
I had to do. And back
show
then,
up.
you didn't have to run. I didn't run PPC, and you'd
Yeah.
find this wild now, like for months. And
Yeah.
my business was churning over like 30,000 USD a month, 10K profit every month.
Yeah.
No ads basically.
Yeah.
So it was just like wildly different times. Amazon is slightly more difficult now, especially in USA.
Yeah.
But that's where the opportunity is Amazon Australia, because it's kind of like USA all those years ago, where you do have to run some Amazon ads, but
It's
it's
very minimal.
very minimal, very easy to manage it. It's nothing complex like retargeting ads and all that bullshit like with Facebook. It's just general keyword. You're selling coffee cup ad. And your product just shows up at the top for the keyword
like-
coffee cup.
I think like if
It's
you
a cheat code.
you could like spend like $20 to $50 a day max when you're like trying to max out on Amazon Australia. You can spend $50 on Facebook ads in a minute,
Yeah.
and be like, did I get any data from that? Like,
And I heard recently that the more money you spend on Facebook ads, the bigger your budget is, the more likely they are to actually even promote your product just based on what your budget is.
Yeah.
So it's also like whoever has the most money wins with Facebook ads.
They get the
whereas with
priority.
Amazon Australia, it's really not like that.
Yeah, it's completely different.
So I want to, now that we're going into the Amazon, so the first difference between dropshipping and Amazon is actually how that customer is acquired. And when I say that, it's like basically how do you get a customer to buy your product? So with the dropshipping store, you have to create the demand. So via your ad, you have to excite a customer and be like, yes, I want that product, I'll buy it. Whereas with Amazon, we are meeting demand. So we find a product that we know people are specifically going onto Amazon, specifically going onto amazon.com.au, so in Australia, and writing coffee cup, ice bath, hydrogen bottle. We know that people are already looking for that product. We're giving the people what they want. That's as easy as it is. You find a product that people are already looking for, and you go like, here you go. Here on a silver platter, exactly what you were after. So that's the first difference.
Yeah, and the second difference is then the fulfillment method. So with drop shipping, again, the Chinese supplier has to send it all the way to the customer, which can take, they do the slowest shipping to save money, it can take a month. With Amazon, because your products are already in the Amazon warehouses in Australia, the customer gets it same week.
Yeah.
So it's like an infinitely different experience, infinitely different in the way that you find the customer, and then the way that the customer like gets the product.
Yeah.
And Amazon, like, just think about that logically. Like, would you rather your customer get their product really quick and also they're the ones looking for your product? Or would you rather look for your customer, find them, and then they also get their product really slowly and then they're disappointed?
Yeah.
It's like, just compare like those two main like high level aspects of dropshipping and Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
And in Australia, that has like, in the last 3 years, that has significantly got faster. 30 years ago, in most capital cities, it was still like 3 days shipping. Now it's like 1 day shipping in capital cities, and regional it's 1 to 3. So Amazon has worked like extremely hard to open up more warehouses across Australia. Their fulfillment is insane now. You have people delivering on Sundays, just random like Uber drivers delivering on Sundays. They've gone all out and pushing Amazon Australia. So now the service for customers is better than it's ever been before, and I know that's only going to get better. They do like 3-hour drone shipping in USA. I don't know if that will happen in Australia, but it's getting faster and faster. At some point it will. So that's the difference, and you just can't beat that when you're having to wait 14. That's like, say, 14 to 20 days with dropshipping if things go wrong as well, because you've got to go through customer. Everything's different. Yeah. So yeah, it's extreme how fast it is in Australia.
And then so that's an addition to the customer experience. That it's a positive experience because they get their product quickly. Another positive experience for the customer is they're actually getting a product that is high quality. Because you have to invest money into a product. If you're investing money into a product, you've got to make sure that that product is exactly what you're after, what your customer is after, that the branding is beautiful, that the packaging is beautiful. You've got to put some effort into this. So when so I was concerned about this duct taped egg shoe. Now when our customer gets it, I know that the shipping is going to be fast. They're going to get it 100%.
You mean with Amazon now, with our current brand?
And why do you have to do that? Not like, why is it that has to be perfect? Like on Amazon, you're saying like has to be the packaging.
Hold on, I'm not getting to that point yet. I'm talking about the customer experience. Like is
that not the customer experience? The packaging and the product you're just talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand what your question was.
Well, why do you have to do it on Amazon? You don't have to do it on dropshipping, because on Amazon you get reviews and you get stung and you get sent down the bottom. If you just launch a product straight that has no packaging, no customer experience, you go down to 1 star and you end up at the bottom of the
pissed her off now, Chris.
We'll go on 2 different wavelengths, Chris. I'm talking about the customer.
Yeah, the customer experience. Is that not the packaging, what they receive, the product?
No, yeah. So
I'm talking
about the quality of the product. That's what the point that I was going is that with Amazon, because with you're investing money into a product, therefore the quality is going to be top notch. Therefore, you're actually selling something that is beautiful. You don't have that feeling like I did that you're scamming a customer.
So it's like your own personal moral satisfaction is higher because you're like, yes, I've treated this customer with what they want.
And when you're creating something, you want it to be good. Like, what's the point of doing something if you're going to do a shitty job at it?
And that's the difference in buying, because some people will think, well, drop shipping, you don't have to buy product in stock, but you have to spend money on Facebook ads. That's where the money is. With Amazon FBA, you do have to buy that stock up front, but then there's not really ads to run money for, right? So yes, you do have to do the stock up front, but the benefit is that you own that product. So what are you going to do? You're going to put a logo on it. You're going to put it in a nice, custom, fancy box. There's going to be insert cards in there that educate the customer on the product. There's going to be, an email in there. So if they have any issues, they can email you directly. So then you can talk with it. Yeah, exactly. We get it quality control tested. Every single product is checked by a third party that comes into the warehouse in China, works with our supplier and checks it all and gives us an in-depth report. And any products that are defected, well, then we send the report to the supplier and then they replace them.
Yep.
So the customers are getting an awesome experience. We feel morally that we're doing the correct thing. And then Amazon also rewards us there as well, because then the customer's going to love the product. They maybe going to buy another one of our products. They enjoy it more. And then they're also going to leave a banging 5-star review. And this is then how you win on Amazon, is like the product that basically has the best experience, and then you're meeting the demand, like you said earlier, wins.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That's the game.
That's why we do Amazon.
So in a nutshell.
Should we just break it down quickly again, like positives and negatives?
I think
quickly.
pros and cons,
Okay.
if you like, of both. So we'll start with positive for dropshipping, because I also want to say that every single business model works, because there's been millionaires from every single
100%.
business model. So it's not that one works, one is a scam, one isn't. It's basically, if you were to start a business and you found something that you really clicked with, you're like, oh my God, I understand this, and it just works, then go for gold.
Yeah.
We're just sharing our experience that we did
totally.
dropshipping and we didn't like Facebook
There's
ads.
still, guys.
To this day, we've never done Facebook ads for any of our products.
And it's funny because we might start doing it. We've thought about it, but even we did 3.2 million on Amazon last year. We didn't run a single Facebook ad.
Yeah.
And we've considered it. We're like, maybe that's the next step of growth. But we're like, nah, probably not.
It's like, that's why we do Amazon. Because it's
The
not
only ads we ran
constantly.
outside of Amazon was a small amount of Google ads, and that was more so for brand awareness and just for people, like when they were clicking out Amazon to search for our brand, would shop again.
And that's completely next level to our Shopify. Nothing to even do with Amazon, really. Like starting out, you don't need to run any ads until you're doing at least 7 figures
100%.
a year. So it's like, and you don't need to. That's the whole point. But yeah, let's maybe dive into some pros and cons. Starting off with drop shipping. What are the pros?
I'm going to start with that. I think that it is from, as an overview of what dropshipping is, there is a low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Which means that you can get started. If you wanted to dip your toes in e-commerce and you're like, I want to start right now, you can get started very quickly. Low barrier entry in terms of the money.
Because we said ad spend is what's expensive, but you realistically, if you wanted to take it really slow, you could just spend $10 a day, and then you're not going to get many clicks or sales in over a long period of time. You're not going to move very fast that business, but you're not spending a lot of money. So you still.
But the con is the pro is that it's low barrier to entry. Yeah. What else is there?
Another.
I'd like to throw in there. In comparison to Amazon as well, another thing which is a little bit slightly more high level, but you actually get customers' contacts, so you can retarget customers, because Amazon owns the customers. We don't own the customers at Amazon. Where Shopify, you'll get their email, their phone number. You can retarget. If you're building a brand, you have that email base for life, because they've come to your website, so you own the customer.
Yeah.
And you also kind of control your own website and the
pricing.
The pricing. That's another good point. And also the actual design and layout of everything, how it looks. You can customize everything really intensely on Shopify, which on Amazon you can't customize what Amazon user face looks like, right? But that's pretty much it for the pros,
only last one I'd say is that you pay less fees on Shopify, so you're not paying as big Amazon fees as you do. And also, we just bring some pricing. When you go to Amazon, obviously people are there searching for products, so you're competing against other products. Shopify, if you can get customers to your store, they're just looking at your product. So there's a slight difference. You are competing against other people in the market, but you're not competing in a whole
against
picture.
other ads. But once they're on your website and you've done a really good job, then they might buy from you, and that's where the money's made. But even then, you say
I wouldn't call it as a.
But even then, you say that there's the high fees on Amazon. It's sure, but there's no ad expenses. So
if you're separating them,
if you separate it and actually add in the meta ad expenses onto the Shopify business, it's way more than the Amazon fulfillment fees and handling and all that, right?
And without ads, you can't get buyers.
And that's not even including yet third-party fulfillment with Shopify once you grow it up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think because you keep on throwing the fees with Amazon. So we need to unpack that a little bit.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that.
I don't think it's an equivalent to Amazon fees and drop shipping fees, because the fees for Amazon don't exist in the drop shipping because that's not what the drop shipping model offer.
Yeah, you're paying for the fulfillment with the Amazon fees in that Amazon sends the product to your customer, which is like fair enough.
Logistics. So drop shipping doesn't have that. So
Plus
I
for being
say
on,
that.
plus for being on Amazon, where
Yeah.
using Shopify, you just pay a Shopify fee for each sale.
Yeah.
So we pay a percentage to Amazon for being
All right,
on Amazon.
let's go from the top of these pros and cons because we're kind of diverging
Yeah,
and
you
back
have
and
to
forth.
be in
Let's
a
just
straight line
do
too.
straight line pros, straight line cons for drop shipping. So the pros are low budget, right? The pros are you own the customer, and the pros are it's more like customizable and
Yeah.
you can do kind of
They're the
your
main
own
pros.
your own playing field, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are the cons?
The cons
Straight
are
up, advertising is a barrier to entry straight away. Expensive advertising, you got to have that skill set to get any sales to your website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So learning the skill of Facebook ads is a massive, it's a difficult one. And then having to put money into that is even, you can almost break it into a few sections of Facebook ads. Learning the skill and then putting money into that skill when you're not really that good at it yet and hyper competitive.
It's very
That's
easy
right.
to lose money very fast.
You still need money. So Chris, you mentioned that. Oh, you can just go slowly, $10 a day. How many sales do you think you're going to get doing $10 a day? You're not going to get anything.
Yeah, it's
Basically, you need the more money you have, the more you can play.
Ideally, you need a decent budget of probably a couple grand so you can put that into ads to properly test and all of that.
And that's right. It's testing. It's not
It's a lot
even
of
that
testing early on.
this is a system that is proven. It's testing
That's right.
because everyone's customer avatar is different.
And the first ad is likely going to flop. So you got to be like, all right, now here's the data, and the data's inaccurate. Let's use another ad.
And then I think the last one is the quality of your product. You have
the
no
customer
control
experience.
of the customer experience. You've got no control of the product whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah, and also then the slow shipping time.
Yep.
Slow shipping time is
Okay.
a massive one. And these days, people brand it being like, oh, but drop shipping you get from local suppliers and stuff like that. But even that customer experience is horrible. I don't really want to get into, how some drop shippers now use eBay fulfillment from Australia.
No, it just gets complicated.
And it gets so complicated and all of that. But even that's not like a really good customer experience because it's not your brand and all this stuff like that. So,
and then I guess because we can run
branded drop shipping products, they say these days.
And we speak about Amazon all the time. So obviously we've talked about the pros and cons of Shopify, and why we like Amazon is because a lot of those things are answered.
Because we've made millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars, but a lot of
and
things
we haven't done that on Shopify.
And we don't probably need to go into we don't need to
to
probably go into it in depth again because we like having our products. We like growing a brand with our products. We like having that quality. We like giving customers that quality. We like having not have to run ads. All these things we love on Amazon.
So if you go straight line pros, what's the list? What's
No
the
ads.
first pro
Don't need to
selling on
run
Amazon?
ads.
Don't need to run meta ads.
Well, customers come to you.
Customer
isn't that first
satisfaction,
one?
they come to you. Speed of delivery, which once again goes into customer satisfaction, and owning your products, which means you can have a tangible brand that if you go to sell in the future, you have products and basically handing over to the next person who wants to buy your business. This is what I sell. These are our branded products. This is our products.
Yeah, and
It's
also
like
the
that
Amazon takes care of all of the customer fulfillment, all of the customer experience in that. Like even if a customer says, hey, something's wrong here, Amazon deals with the customer in that way as well. So it's way more hands off as an Amazon seller, isn't it? Because Amazon will ship the product to the customer. They'll take care of the customer, make sure they got it. They'll send the customer the tracking code. You don't have to do any of this stuff manually. Amazon does it for you.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is really get your product onto Amazon, meet the demand, like Veronica said. So find where the demand is, get it there, meet it. Customers are writing in that product saying, I want to buy this product. That's what's going in their head. I'm going here to buy this right now, 100% buying intent. And you just got to master the algorithm with a good customer experience, reviews to get it to the top of the algorithm.
And I think the last pro is that Amazon Australia is growing so fast, and it is like a respected online marketplace now that maybe 3 or 4 years ago people were still unsure about because online shopping in Australia has changed. Now it is known to be respected. The amount of people using it, Amazon,
It's trusted.
It's trusted. The amount of people using it has tripled, or whatever it is. It continues to grow. So now more
1 in 4
people go there
Aussies
knowing they're going to get a good product, not just a dropship product.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
drop shipping almost paved the way for Amazon Australia because there's all these customers that are upset with their buying experience because they've been scammed on a meta ad, right? And they're like, I'm not doing that anymore. Then initially when Amazon came, all Aussies were like, nah, man, that's a scam as well. What's with this weird website, some American thing. And now everyone buys. 1 in 4 Aussies. Let that sink in. There's 4 of us in the room right now. All 4 of us buy on Amazon in most rooms.
There's a 100% strike rate here.
And in no
Well, at
time
least one person buys.
In no time, that'll be 2 and 4. It's moving
exactly.
so fast.
And that's buys not just once. That's over and over and over that one person.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think too, what I want to say to summarize is from a customer standpoint, as a business, we're partnering with Amazon, a body that customers trust, and they know they're going to get their product quick, and they know they can return it. no questions asked.
Yeah.
So the customer is happy to buy from that platform. And then from a business perspective, we're leveraging that reputation of Amazon and also their logistics. So as you said, all the dry stuff, we didn't even touch on storage, the fact that this is not drop shipping, but it's like private label. We don't have products in our house. So Amazon stores it, picks, packs it, and delivers to our customer. We don't have to do anything.
We never even see the products, right?
The only thing that we concentrate is the design aspect, like the fun stuff. There is a bit of PPC, like the
Pay-per-click
the
advertising.
advertising, which is specifically on Amazon. But it's just front end heavy. Find the product, design the product, make it all pretty, create your listing, make it all pretty. It's like the fun stuff. And then if you've done your product research correctly, you sit back. We can get out our phone right now and see how many customers have bought our product.
Yeah.
We're not running ads; they're coming to us. So that's why we do Amazon FBA.
I think that's that perfect summary right there.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. And if you want to get started on Amazon FBA, we obviously have our academy, the Conquer AMZ Academy, where we teach you step by step how to sell products on Amazon Australia. So if you're interested in what that actually looks like and what we've been talking about, click the link below and you can watch a few videos or even get on a call with me.
Easy.
Tweet us.
See you later.
See you next one. Peace.
See you later.